number one team on our list. Can you believe it, Mark? What an insane twist to the year. G2 Esports are the number one team heading into the preseason. What happens when the greatest team in the history of European League of Legends adds the greatest AD carry in Western League of Legends history? Well, they probably come in at number one.
This is so unexpected, so wild. What a twist that we had this year to have Reckless find his way over to G2. I remember talking about these rumors and being like, no way, it can't happen. He's Mr. Fnatic. It's not going to happen.
Memes can be dreams, kids. Just believe that.
I tell you what, if it's a Carlos Oswald dream, he's going to do everything in his damn power to make sure that it becomes a reality, and it is for the G2 faithful. You've got Reckless replacing Perks, which I know that's a certain discussion that needs to be had in its own right. But talking about what you have, what's in front of you, what's on your plate, and what everyone else has got, you've got the king dish, the number one prime spot, G2 Esports sitting on top.
And you might have said prior to Worlds and the end of summer, I don't know, Reckless's play style doesn't really fit with G2, but you saw him evolve with Hylissang, we talked about at Worlds. I think I fully expect him to fit in perfectly. Okay, you can say the personalities might clash because he's a little more serious than a lot of the G2 members, but all he's got to do is start up and get a copy of Shadowlands and he'll fit right in.
I was going to say, as long as they can manage somehow Wonder's playing of WoW, that's going to be the one thing I think, managing, obviously, someone as dedicated as Reckless, as driven and committed as Reckless. Why is this guy playing WoW all the time over here? I think that's.
And then he says, I'm still smashing Bwipo. Why does it matter,
man? And then he gets the next week and he's like, oh, you're picking Seraphine top lane. And oh, what are you, 12? Oh, okay, you're fine. You're fine, man. It's all right. Yeah, I'll help you. When's your next raid? We'll figure it out.
I'll pay for 6 months of subs for you.
Man, what a move for G2. What an addition. You're right in talking that, a couple weeks, maybe a month ago, you'd be looking at this and going, okay, it's a fantastic player. I just don't see it fitting. I don't see the puzzle piece, getting in this slot at all. Not so much anymore with what you saw from how he adapted, with Hylissang at Worlds and how he played. Something fantastic to see from someone as a veteran, as someone like Reckless who has been playing as cautiously as he has been in the past to play to that level of where the game is evolving. And especially thinking, okay, you did that with Hylissang. This is not meant to be anything against Hylissang. This is meant to be something for Mickey. And you're talking about stepping up a level in what you're going to play with, as far as, let alone the aggression can still be there. The playmaking, the thoughts can absolutely still be there from someone like Mickey as they were with Hylissang. But now you're talking about an extra level of safety, an extra level, in lane is something that someone like Reckless can very much appreciate.
Yeah, and it's just something you don't really see with Hylissang. We saw countless times with Mickey, especially when Caps was playing AD carry. He'll play the supports that are just there to babysit. He'll play the Jannas, the Namis, the Karmas, just to buff you up and follow you around. That's, when we've seen Reckless at his best is when he was playing around that 2017 when Jesus was still the support for them. So that's something that could be interesting to check out with this roster. You saw this stat. This is the most insane stat. The last 7 MVP winners are now on G2, with Reckless coming over. Jankos, Caps, and Reckless. 2017 spring was the last time that now a member of G2 didn't win an MVP. It was Vizicachi. The guy's retired now. That's how long it's been.
That's pretty insane. Adding to this roster another MVP level player and everything else. One of the important things to remember, Reckless is not Perks, guys. As much as we're talking about this being the replacement that you needed, up to the level to compete, he's not Perks. They're different players. They're different players in lane, outside of obviously the game. We talked about that one a little bit. One of the important ones to really remember, though, again, is looking at the success, looking at the play style of a team like G2 with Perks and what he could bring to the bot lane. And yes, even if you want to be giving Reckless certain positives that you're not going to afford to someone like Perks, you got to be looking at someone like Reckless and acknowledging that, he doesn't deliver the exact same things that Perks does, even as an ADC.
And this is the first time, I know we've had the role swap between Perks and Caps, but this is the first time in 2 full years where G2 has been dominating with this roster. It's the first move they've made, like removing one of those 5 players. The role swaps don't count. So you do have to take into effect or account, does Reckless coming in, change things a bit? Because Perks did so much more for the team outside of just playing on the Rift as a leadership role. Obviously, we know Reckless is a leader as well, but he's said himself that he doesn't enjoy or find himself that good at that leadership role, even though he's one of the best veterans in the scene.
I think something that's going to be very important, obviously, is how do we manage our expectations and praise for a team like G2 as we head into the
Win
year.
worlds or bust. Yeah.
Obviously, that is the goal from someone like Carlos and even this roster, right? But when we're talking about where they're going to be tested, right? When are we going to see these type of, any type of issues come up or flare ups, and how they get over, right, that adversity? That's going to be a big thing, because I promise you, even with as well playing as this team is and as well formed as they are, even a team like Damwon, as much as easy as it looks for their run at Worlds, there's adversity that goes throughout the year or at the actual event itself, and you have to be able to get through it. A team like G2, and adding these type of things, this type of shakeup, right? That's something that's going to have to be looked at, because I don't think, obviously, in whatever your first match against SK, for example, and even if I think that SK can surprise a lot of people, you're not expecting SK to blow G2 out of the water and, oh my God, we need to really think about what we were doing, and, oh, you were doing this and now we're going to argue. That type of stuff isn't going to happen with your regular LEC opponent for a squad like G2. You need one of those top 4, top 3 teams to really push to that elite level, with Fnatic as well. They're going to have to push G2 to get that type of thing for G2 to become even better. That's the thing that we're talking about right now is, what? You need something sharp to sharpen that other sword. And that's exactly what G2 needs as they prepare to take on international competition, because that's the goal. That's it for this roster. As you said, they're not here. They don't care. They have LEC titles. They have got LEC titles last year. They're looking for that international goal.
I don't think you're going to get a better European roster than this. Like this is it. This is the run.
I don't see it in the next year or two. At the very least, I do not see one being able to be formed.
So this is the best deep shot. Been to finals. You want to win a world championship for Europe here. They do have the blessing of what happened with G2 in 2020 summer. Even if they're okay, let's say there's some hiccups. Are you really that concerned when they showed this past year that, okay, we're 6-7. Oh my God, G2, they're barely going to make playoffs. Oh my God, what's going on? Oh, they've won the split. Oh, they got top 4 at Worlds. Okay, so there's really zero reason to panic at all in the regular season unless they're 1-17 or something.
Unless it's coming out that, Reckless unplugged Wonder's computers, because he was so upset about
threw it out the window.
Right, like something absolutely outrageous or dumb like that. Sure, you could talk about those type of issues, but I think you're obviously right in talking about actual performance struggles. I don't think anyone would be sounding any real alarms about what G2 or their individual performances. And as I said, with someone like Damwon, where we were really harsh on them in spring, right, as far as not showing growth or lessons learned from Worlds past. Look where that turned out, obviously, for a squad like Damwon. And that's not to say that you always need to struggle to find some level of success, but a team like G2, the players that are on this G2 roster and the success that they've had, I think a little bit of adversity, and especially how you tackle and overcome that adversity, because these players are so good and so talented and so much around them that they would overcome adversity. I think that is certainly one of the big things to help this group gel together even more so. And look, I know people say, how do you measure that? And that's stupid stuff to talk about actually having any impact on the game. Hey, you play with someone you hate, I promise you're not going to have as much fun or enjoyment or burnout, any type of things.
Even winning doesn't feel as good.
Right. So exactly. I'm talking about, making Reckless not just a mercenary that's come over to G2 that says, I'm here to help you guys win Worlds and you're here to be the team that I'm with and everything like that. I'm talking about building something together, forming something, a bond together. Hey, you build that bond, you're going to be a strong squad.
And we talk about, potentially clashing with personalities. He's friends with Caps. They played together on Fnatic. He's played at All-Stars with Jankos. He wanted Mickey to be his support way back in 2016 or 2017. So there's already this relationship that he has with most of the players on G2. And, oh, by the way, they've played in the finals the last 3 years. So G2,
You think there's any issues? And then he goes to Carlos. You think Carlos isn't gonna be like, oh, "What's going on? Reckless isn't happy. Get on it." Hey, come on, guys. This is
Paid
not
a lot of
what's
money
happening.
for this. Actually, I didn't pay any because I made it all off the buyout from Perks. But G2, expect them to do the same they've done for the last 2 years, and that is just raise up the competition, the level of play in Europe. Don't see it changing. Of course, they're number one on the preseason rankings. That is it for Mark and Eric here. We're doing a little bit of a holiday break, so we might not be seeing you guys until the new year, but around then, we're going to pump out LCK, LPL, all the rankings you need. Stay safe out there, everybody. Happy holidays, and we'll catch you on the flippity flop.